Today on CityCast Denver, after a long, hard week eating pizza all across Denver, we are putting two local pizza places up crust to crust in a pizza duel to rule them all. On one plate, an old Denver champion that never stopped kicking butt. And on the other, the heavily favored new Denver champion, Blue Pan Pizza. Our host, Bree Davies, is still out with COVID, so it's up to me, a veteran eater of hundreds of pizzas across Colorado and co-host of the Denver Pizza Podcast. And CityCast Denver's resident foodie, the original Blue Pan stan herself, our newsletter writer, Peyton Garcia, to pick the best pizza in Denver. That's what we could come up with on short notice, and then this whole thing got hijacked by a sort of guest host person, and I don't know what to say. We picked a winner. I think we made the right choice. Today is Friday, September 30th, 2022. I'm Paul Caroli, and this is CityCast Denver.
Welcome to CityCast Denver, the only show temporarily hungry enough to review every pie in Mile High. My name is Megan Ariano, co-host of the Denver Pizza Podcast. Today, temporary host of CityCast Denver, along with
I don't know how I feel about this.
Lead producer, my husband, Paul Caroli.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, welcome to my show, my car.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yep, anytime. And newsletter writer extraordinaire, Peyton Garcia.
So good to be here, Megan, on your show.
Yeah.
In your car.
What can I say? We're not using the air conditioning, so everybody get nice and toasty warm.
So this show has a time limit.
Yeah.
We have a natural time limit, which is good because this is the big one.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be sweating like a Big Bill pizza at the end of this.
Ooh, spoiler.
All right, we got to get it. We got to start moving. We got to start moving through this stuff.
Okay.
Yes. Normally, the Denver Pizza Podcast starts with a pizza question. I want to turn the tables on to you, Megan, our temporary host for the day, I guess. I mean, how do you view Denver pizza? We've been talking about it all week. You know, people complain about Denver pizza. New Yorkers, East Coasters come here and they say, no good pizza. What's your view?
I love it when people come here and say no good pizza and then try and make their best pizza. Denver is perfectly positioned as the hub of the pizza wheel.
Huh.
We get great New York style pizza. We get great Detroit style pizza. We even get New Haven style pizza. California pizza, they're not giving us much, but they could be. So
They'd be welcome to.
Yeah.
I don't believe that's an actual pizza style. Story for another
Really?
time.
California style?
No.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that again. There's a good story in Carol's book about California
Is there?
style. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll tell you off mic. That's such a good take, Megan.
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. It's like the thing that we've always hated that defined us as a non-pizza place is the very thing that makes us a pizza place. I think you might have just summed up Pizza Week.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's reflect so many stories we've heard this week.
Mm-hmm.
We went at this pizza pop-up festival type event in Westminster that Peyton you found for us, and we went and ate a bunch of pizza there. And one of the guys, Antonio's, I don't know, maybe you should start explaining who Antonio is.
Yeah, so Antonio's, he has a really, really awesome pizza place in Estes Park. I highlighted it in the newsletter on Thursday, so check that out. But he came from Long Island, New York, and he settled down in Colorado, and he felt like Colorado didn't have authentic New York pizza, so he decided to make it. And he spent like 10 years trying to perfect his Sicilian New York style pizza. And I would say he damn did the thing.
It's incredibly good.
So
what he is
good.
doing,
So
what he
good.
brought to that pop-up was like, I had 3 slices.
Yeah, I couldn't stop.
I had 7 slices of pizza that day, and the last 2 were his. And that's something. I mean, I had to make space for Antonio.
I forgot about that. Totally nuts. But Denver, as a pizza city, we get it all. And I agree. Like, we don't have to be we don't have to be grasping for honey on the crust.
Well, hold on now.
We can enjoy the cornucopia that's just brought to us.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I love that.
Peyton, how about you? What are your takeaways from Pizza Week?
I mean, I think I was struggling to say. I think my feelings are very similar to what Megan just said, and I just didn't know how to word it as beautifully as she did. I came into Pizza Week with a couple different goals. My first goal was to better familiarize myself with the pizza scene in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it felt overwhelming at the start of the week. I wanted to feel like after Pizza Week, I could speak intelligently about what Denver has to offer. And then I wanted to also answer the question, is Denver a pizza town? And I was feeling like, I feel like Megan hit it on the head. I think that we could be, I don't know what she said.
Yeah.
Ditto to what she said. I can't beat that.
I can't either. I think that was beautiful, Megan. I think that was beautiful. So let's get to business.
Totally.
Let's get to the thing people are here to hear. The high stakes, thrilling conclusion. What's the best pizza in Denver? So we're sitting, the show's going to sound a little different today because we're sitting in the mobile studio, pizza podcast style, outside of a pizza place. We got to tell the whole story.
You do it.
All right. So we knew we wanted to pick the best pizza in Denver. And I think our listeners and readers, when we put out an initial call, made it very clear that there is a favorite. There is a heavy favorite in this race. The majority of people who called in and wrote in about Blue Pan Pizza.
Hi, this is Nate from the Indian Creek neighborhood. I realize I'm a bit late to the game on getting in my favorite pizza place. And we have a soft spot for Esther's in Virginia Village, and White Pie is incredible. But hands down, Blue Pan is the best pizza in Denver.
Peyton, this is a place you've championed quite a bit. We ate there earlier today at 11 a.m., exactly when they opened. You walked in at 11:02, and we were the fourth table seated.
Yep.
There were people waiting outside 10 minutes before it opened on a Thursday.
That's nuts.
This place is so popular. People love it. It started in the Highlands. There was a little small cubbyhole one that they've recently expanded. And then they have the one that I think most people probably know, the bigger one in Congress Park. It's like 10, 15 years old now. They serve Detroit style. What do you like about Blue Pan, Peyton?
So I've been thinking a lot about Blue Pan this week. I've been very vocal on the podcast now and in the past. The Blue Pan is the best pizza in Denver. I've definitely received some pushback on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been thinking a lot. I've been reflecting a lot. I've had Blue Pan twice now this week. And I think a lot of it I'm actually thinking a lot of it has to do with the fact that Detroit style pizza is having a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I think Blue Pan is, they're great because I do think that they bake really intentionally. They clearly use high quality ingredients. So the product that they're putting out is very, very good. Especially if you go and you eat other Detroit style pizzas in the city, which I also did this week.
Yep.
To directly compare.
Wait, where did you go?
I went to Hops and Pie.
This week you had the Detroit style at Hops and Pie?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You want to give us a quick
side
review?
I will say.
Because we had that a few months ago.
I had somebody tell me that, and maybe this is their fault, but I had somebody tell me this will be a good substitute for Blue Pan, which maybe you don't tell one of Blue Pan's biggest fans it can't compare.
No.
It can't.
That's all you need to say about that place.
I think that means, I don't know. Detroit style pizza is having a moment, but Blue Pan does it very, very well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. What was your question? That's how I feel about Blue Pan pizza.
It's so easy to get lost in sauce talking about pizza. One pie leads to another. That's the story of my life, at least. But yeah, Blue Pan's a contender. We knew we had to go there this morning, but what we didn't know is who would go up against Blue Pan.
Yeah, that was the big question.
What's the best pizza of Denver? This is a question we've wrestled with for years, Megan. What's the best pizza? People ask us this. What have you said in the past?
Well, my go-to is that pizzas have different roles, so
which is a cop-out.
I stick with a pizza Mount Rushmore, and I put like my favorite slices on the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the pizza scene has been evolving really quickly too. But
Definitely.
like Blue Pan has just held on to its slot on Pizza Mount Rushmore, Denver Pizza Mount Rushmore, the whole time.
What else is up there for you right now? What are your other favorites?
Joy Hill. I'm surprised that we're not talking about Joy Hill. I'm shocked that we're about to get into Blue Pan versus Big Bill's New York Pizza.
There it is, the reveal.
Yeah. How
That's
did we
what we
get here?
picked.
So I'll start with saying, Paul, you've heard about this place. This is not the first time you've heard of Big Bill's.
Yes,
right?
correct.
You've heard from people. What have you heard?
Well, we've been making this show, the Pizza Podcast, for like 5 years on and off. And this is a place that we have never tried. But people in my life, people whose pizza opinions that I've taken seriously, have, especially those from the south suburbs, have always said there's this place in Centennial where if you want to have that classic parlor experience and get a really good pie as well, go to Big Bill's New York style pizza in Centennial. It's this hole-in-the-wall strip mall. You're going to feel at home right when you walk in, and you won't be disappointed. And I've always held it up in my mind as this place that, like, yeah, out there just on the outskirts of town, there's this real contender for best pizza in Denver. And then earlier this week, when Molly Martin was on giving us her state of the city, state of Denver pizza,
Yep.
she called out two places in particular. One was Redeemer, which was like Joy Hill, another one of these sourdough crust, trendy, newer, popular. I like Redeemer. I like Joy Hill a lot. But I thought, well, I made the case to you, Peyton, and I think you agreed that what we needed was that parlor experience. That was what we were craving earlier this week. And if this place promised that, and if there was a chance that it could really reach that top tier, I thought it was the only real contender to Blue Pan. Because I've been to Joy Hill, I've been to Redeemer. Personally, I think what Blue Pan is doing is more special than those places, as much as I love them and different aspects of them. I thought we should take a chance on the full unknown.
Yeah, I think too, there's a couple things I want to know. And I think Megan made a really good point that Blue Pan, you know, is it all hype? I think a lot of people are like, oh, Blue Pan is just people's favorite right now because of the hype. But I think Megan makes a good point that it's secured that spot in a very rapidly developing pizza scene. And I think there's something to say about that, especially when you've got Everyday Pizza, Joy Hill, Redeemer, all of these brand new places that are definitely hot and popping, and Blue Pan is still up there with them. I think that says something.
Totally. I think Blue Pan is part of the reason that Detroit-style pizza is having a moment, at least in Denver.
I like that.
Yeah. Like,
you're full of
they've
really
been
good
around.
pizza takes, Megan. I mean, you are the pizza authority here. The other thing I would say is what piqued my interest when you suggested Big Bill's as who we should put against Blue Pan is that there was such a juxtaposition between the two places. So Big Bill's is an old school pizza joint. Been here for nearly 30 years. They do what I think is supposed to be like authentic New York style slices. It's like people talk about the vibe, going in and sitting down. And I think that that's all very different with Blue Pan. I think Blue Pan is a lot fancier of a pizza. It's more of a turn and burn kind of place where the space isn't huge. You go in, you get your pizza, there's a line, it's really popular. It's just like it's very new Denver. They felt so juxtaposed in a way that like it seemed like a great contender to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's not just us making this decision about New York, Big Bill's New York style pizza. Quite a mouthful. A delicious mouthful. We got several people writing in to suggest that we try this place. Peyton, do you want to read us one?
Yeah. So we had a reader/listener, Walter, who wrote in, and he kind of sealed our decision. His email sealed our decision on picking Big Bill's to go against Blue Pan. Here's what he wrote in. I just heard your first episode of Pizza Week, and it sounds like you all are already declaring Blue Pan the winner. I had listened to Paul's Pizza Podcast and heard the raves about Blue Pan for a while. A couple months ago, I finally gave it a try. It was okay. I felt they put too much cheese on it and it was too gooey. We had leftovers, and I thought that when I heated up the leftovers in my cast iron pan, it was actually really good.
That's a pro move. Heating up pizza in a cast iron pan. I don't have leftover pizza often, but when I do have it and I want it hot, I will heat it in a pan.
So you know he knows his stuff.
This is legit.
Walt
this
knows
is
his
legit.
stuff. He says, I was able to crisp up the crust and brown the cheese, and it was way better than the pizza fresh out of the oven when we ate at the restaurant the day before. Maybe it was one-off, but we have not gone back, Instead, we go with Jet's Pizza to satisfy our Detroit-style pizza cravings. It was always
Wow.
consistent, more convenient, cheaper, and better than our only experience at Blue Pan, which you guys have an episode where you did Jet's. And the whole reason you guys ate at Jet's was because it was a contender against Blue Pan, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
So
And
then
it's good. I don't like it more than I like Blue Pan.
Walter goes on to say, is Jet's Pizza the best pizza in Denver? It's good, but I have a hard time voting for a national chain. I'm putting my vote in for Big Bill's Pizza. I know that Big Bill's is technically not in Denver, so I'm not sure if it is disqualified since you're looking for the best pizza in Denver or whether you're including the whole metro area.
But he
That
didn't
is a
say
tricky one.
anything more.
No, he didn't.
What a tease.
I would love to hear more from Walt. Walt, if you have more thoughts on pizza, write in. Maybe we could just talk and hang
Leave a
out sometime.
voicemail. Yeah.
Wow.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Well, let's talk about customer experience, because that proximity question, that's something Molly brought up earlier, and I think that's part of the customer experience, and we have to address it. Blue Pan is in Denver proper. Big Bill's New York Pizza is not. It is in Centennial. Do we care? Would it be too disappointing to pick a best pizza in Denver that's not technically in Denver?
That's
Disappointing. I don't know. The customer experience of Big Bill's is so much about like the interior and the sit down.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess it's more like, is it worth it? Like, is it worth it to drive? And
I
don't know.
can't-
That's all the other categories.
That's an end of the podcast question.
Okay.
We're talking about customer
maybe
experience.
we revisit.
Yeah.
Let's
We'll
revisit that.
Put a pin on that.
Yeah. Blue Pan. You've mentioned it before. Tiny little interior. Both of their storefronts are small.
Mm-hmm.
I think Blue Pan is like the hot model that like wears like super skinny sunglasses and like baggy pants. You're like, oh my God, wow, that's incredible. I could never do that. No one else could pull that off. No one else but Blue Pan could pull off having a menu that doesn't even say what their drinks are, that doesn't like, we got there at 11 and we waited until like probably at least 11:30 to get our pizza. No one but Blue Pan could pull it off. Like, it's a cute space, but the customer experience is not totally stellar.
Is there like
Do you think?
a cockiness to it?
Yeah. What?
Is that
Are you accusing them of tood?
No, well,
Having tood?
I'm not saying that there was,
I mean, they're
attitude.
good. Sometimes you earn that swagger.
I'm not saying that, I'm just saying that, what am I saying? Whew.
It's hip.
It's hip, but also like they make choices that are not designed to maximize your comfort. Whereas I think
Yeah.
Big Bill's is trying to maximize your comfort the full way through.
again a great way to put that? And I'm not afraid to say that I think that comes from like a sense of cockiness. We saw that at the Colorado Pizza pop-up.
Mhm.
They were the only ones who, I mean, they had a long line.
Blue Pan.
They were
yeah.
by far the most recognizable name at
Mhm.
the pop-up. And they just had some like boxes out that like weren't, I'm not saying they weren't making stuff fresh because I'm sure they were, but they had a stack of pies and you just went up and you just grabbed a slice from the box versus what the other people were doing, which was like making each slice like
Yeah. They didn't think
yeah.
they had to make it fresh.
No, and I think that they know where they stand in the pizza debate. They know, and
Yeah.
they deserve that. I mean,
Yeah, they do. I want to say some nice things about Blue Pan and the customer experience.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. I think it's great. I love the astronauts. I love the whole pizza's so good it's out of this world thing. You know, a lot of people would just stick with the Detroit theme and like go all in on that, but they have this other space thing. They have this original, like beautiful, huge 3-part painting of a pizza astronaut and like a streetscape of Denver that I asked about. This is in the Congress Park location. Scramble Campbell is the artist who did it. They custom had it made for their space. This is someone who like paints outside Red Rocks shows, I guess, is like known in that community. I love it. I always feel taken care of there. But yes, I do think you're right, Megan, that they have developed some well-earned tude.
Well, I don't know that it's tude. It's just like they have chosen to prioritize other stuff instead of like having a really big space to eat from.
Yeah.
I like their takeout boxes. That's part of the like. I'm not trying to say like the servers were great. The people that waited on us were all great. It's just these other things where it's like you guys know that like that this wouldn't fly with other places.
Yeah.
Their takeout box has instructions on how to reheat the pizza, and that's cool. And I
Classy
also
move.
points for any place that will have a special pizza box just for them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I did call
Peyton.
them one time for delivery out of the Highlands location.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, we're not doing delivery right now.
Okay.
Oh, so when are you doing delivery? Like, again, just I don't know. I think, yeah, kind of a swagger. But that said, I've never had a bad experience there. They've always been friendly and great. And I have a friend who goes there all the time. And for his birthday, they like did something special. I don't remember what it was, but I don't know. It's great.
It is good. Is it better than Big Bill's, though?
Big Bill's, I think that's their strongest category is customer experience. Like there is pizza boxes up to the ceiling when you're walking to the bathroom. That I might annoy someone else, but I just thought it was cool. It's decorated to the gills with like, you know, I Heart New York City type of stuff, and
Sports memorabilia all over the walls.
totally.
Old pizza artifacts.
In contrast to Blue Pan, I could tell what the drinks were by reading the menu.
Peyton, what about you? What did you think about Big Bill's customer experience?
It was fine. It was good. Something that I would say, I didn't feel like it was pizza parlory. I felt like it was sports bar-y, which is different.
Yep.
And that's not a bad thing. I do think that, yeah, like Megan said, it's they are clearly relying on that, like providing that experience. You go in, you sit down, you watch a sports game, you order a pitcher of beer. Like they want you to go in and have that sit down experience. Blue Pan doesn't need that and or want it. I don't know. So they're very, very different. I think Blue Pan focuses a lot. They know that their fame comes from their food, and I think Big Bill's focuses a lot on providing a good dining experience.
A couple of things in Big Bill's favor before one negative. One, Big Bill was there today.
Yeah, that
We
was
asked
cool.
the waiter, what's the story about this place? Or the server, we asked her, what's the story with this place? And she said, Big Bill was an assistant coach for the Nuggets back in the late 70s during George Malone. I don't know Nuggets coaches of the
Yeah, I don't
70s. I'm
either.
sorry. Listeners, feel free to write in. No, do that.
Actually-
We'll Google it. We can all Google it. So he was an assistant coach for the Nuggets in the 70s. He's from New York, and he started this pizza place here, and that's how he got all this sports memorabilia. So it has that fun Nuggets connection.
Yeah, that is cool. And he was there. And then we were like, hey, is Big Bill still around? She goes, yeah, he's sitting right at that table over there.
Yeah, it's cool. That made me feel like, oh yeah, if I was a regular here, we could have a relationship. I could, just a nice feeling. The uncomfortable thing. You walk into this place, it says Big Bill's NYPD. And there's a lot of like police pictures and 9/11 pictures and fireman pictures. And they have this like charity that they're associated with. I guess they do a fundraise every year for 9/11 first responders,
Well,
which is awesome.
I think
Go
he
on.
founded the charity,
He
and
founded
it's
the
his
charity.
Yeah.
wife's name.
Oh, which
Yeah.
is love. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's right.
beautiful. I don't know how I feel about police being a big part of my pizza experience. That's just like a sour taste in my mouth.
To be fair, she did say NYPD stands for New York Pizza Department.
Yeah.
But yes, the play on words is intentional.
Yeah.
That didn't bother me.
All right, let's do it. Head to head. Customer experience, Blue Pan, Big Bill's. What's better, Megan?
I'd pick Big Bill's for this category.
Peyton?
Go with your heart.
Customer experience. Paul, you go. Let me
Big
have
Bills all the way. Big
Wow.
Bills. More comfortable. I would way rather hang out for longer at Big Bills. Although I like Blue Pan. It's a hard decision, but I
God,
got
it's hard. I'm going to say... God, this is hard. I'm going to say Blue Pan. I went there for my friend's
Fair.
birthday party, and nothing about either place like particularly blew me out of the water. So yeah, I'm going to say it.
All right. We got our fan favorite category coming up after a quick break. I'm sweating.
I know,
gotta step
God,
out
please,
of this car.
can we please open the door?
All right, and we're back. Time to jump into the back half. We've all stopped sweating temporarily.
Gotta love that mobile recording studio. Classic pizza podcast. So we're to the fan favorite category, correct?
The fan favorite category. Let's all say it together. Peyton. It's crust.
It's
Can I start on crust?
Yeah, this one's going to be easy.
This one is easy. The Detroit style crust at Blue Pan Pizza is the standout crust. Not only is it better than Big Bill's, it is the best in the city. It is the best crust. It is the thing you look forward to at Blue Pan. They have taken the weakness of the pizza, the crusty corner of a square pie, or that big mound of crust on a circle, and they have made that a strength. It is the
Achilles
best
heel
bite
of the pizza, which is the crust.
Truly.
Big Bill's crust is great, though.
It was
when
fine.
When that pizza showed up, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, and I thought it was just fine.
The crust, here was my issue with the crust. Okay, because obviously the answer is Blue Pan here. That's their whole thing, is they're known for their crust. And granted, that is like kind of Detroit style's whole cornerstone. But as we've already established, Blue Pan does Detroit style at its best. The thing with Big Bill's was the edges of the crust were fine. I don't know, felt a little bland to me, and then it got a little soggy on the bottom.
Huge droop problem.
And that was and I don't necessarily have a problem with droop in New York style pizza at all. If we're talking, Cosmos or Abos, those big slices, it was the sogginess.
Yeah.
It got soggy. And so the crust throughout was inconsistent. It was soggy at the front. It was crispy at the back, but even the back end, it didn't have like a ton of flavoring or seasoning for my taste. It was fine crust.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree. Not droop, but soup in the middle of the pie. Sorry, Big Bill.
Not
Yeah.
droop, but soup.
Yeah.
It's true.
I also thought, not to get ahead of ourselves, but the Big Bill's pizza smelled so good. When it got to the table, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's like garlic in the crust or something else. And I didn't taste any extra seasoning.
Yeah. I was brushing up on my pizza podcast listening before we did this. And there was something that Megan said in a past pizza podcast episode that really resonated with me. And she said, if you get to the end of your pizza and you have crust left over, the difference between a good crust and a bad crust is, will I eat that crust or will I just let it go to the trash?
Yep.
And I think with Blue Pan, I will shove that crust in if I have to, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me. And with Big Bill's, it wasn't bad crust, but if I have crust left over and I'm feeling full, not
Yeah.
gonna eat it. I'll give it to the dog.
Totally. Y'all got honey at Blue Pan, and I'm not including myself in that because I have standards. I have my hard lines.
You did the honey journey at the same. You took every step. We did it together.
yeah.
We went to Idaho Springs. What do you think about honey on the crust, Megan?
I
hate giving you time to say this.
I'm still very contrarian. I don't really need it most of the time, and with the Blue Pan especially, it's like, it's so good. Like the honey that we had, I think was good, and I think I saw each of you like use it a little bit, but actually not on the crust.
Yeah. I will say, I have not done as much honey on the crust research as these guys, but I think it's this pizza week has changed me.
Yeah.
As a pizza eater, I need that now. I want that. I'm going to ask for it. I was trying to find honey at the pizza pop-up to buy for my pizza, all of my pizza eating in the future. I did it at Blue Pan. And yeah, Blue Pan does not need it, first of all, because their crust is so amazing and it's covered in griddled cheese anyway. But I still put it all over the pizza. I still thought it was such a nice touch. I'm officially a honey on the crust person, thanks to Pizza Week.
Oh,
I don't
wonderful.
Yeah, I've changed.
That is pretty cool. I don't think we've actually described the Blue Pan crust really, because it feels so obvious, but it is Detroit style is defined by it being a square pie with some depth, and the edges are supposed to be sort of laced with cheese. And that is what this crust is.
And it's pure beauty.
Yeah, it's like a very beautiful cheese lace too. It's not just like sometimes it's like, oh, they just threw cheese on this to like hide something gross, be it a hamburger or whatever. But this is like the cheese on the crust is elegant and elevated.
Totally intentional.
Yeah.
It feels like every strand of cheese put on that pizza was intentional.
One thought on the Blue Pan and the honey in the crust. The Blue Pan crust, I feel like, is where the Blue Pan of my memories is a little bit better than the Blue Pan I ate today. Like, I can't give them a 10 out of 10 for that crust today. I think it was a little bit extra doughy and spongy and a little bit drier than I would want underneath the toppings and the cheese. Although the rim, of course, as usual, was A+.
Phenomenal.
And putting the honey on took it from a 9 to an 11.
Oh my God.
That
no.
bite, it was my last bite at Blue Pan, but I put the spicy honey on, the white pie with a little sun-dried tomato.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly was. That was
did it right.
Out of this world.
In fact, we had a white pie, which we'll get into, but we had a white pie at Blue Pan, and you lose some of that sauce factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I came down to my last few bites of the white pie, it did feel like it was lacking just something. And because then it's just very bread heavy. It's very dough heavy. And you're right. The honey would have changed everything. I think you did it right.
It cranked it up to 11.
Yeah, I know what you mean about like the memory of Blue Pan crust versus like today's reality. I want to add that a pro move there is to just order smalls, because then it's all corners. That's my move.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Good tip.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's unanimous. We all liked Blue Pan's crust better, right? Yeah. We can move on. Okay,
Yeah.
We're already kind of getting into pizza overall, so I'll quickly describe what we got. At Blue Pan, we got one pizza that was sort of like the vegetarian one, half this white pie with the sun-dried tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, artichokes. The other half was what they call a tomato pie, which was just mozzarella and then some like tomato sauce on top in the Detroit style. And then the other pie was the more meat-centric one with two kinds of pepperoni. Peyton, what else was on there?
So we got the Brooklyn Bridge, which is their signature pie that's won a ton of awards. It had cupped pepperoni, it had sausage, and New York whipped ricotta dollops, all on top of the cheese, and then with the red sauce on top.
Mm-hmm.
I think the white pie was the cocoa Telluride.
It was, yep.
Okay.
I think so.
Koto.
Koto.
I think Koto Telluride.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Let's go on.
I'll throw out the first opinion. The Brooklyn Bridge is the name of the meat one? Oh, that was the one. Like, the ricotta whips are like piped onto the pizza, and they are so beautiful and structurally sound. I like a cupped pepperoni. Sorry, Brie.
Me too.
And yeah, just all the bites of that pizza were like craveable, and I carefully avoided it because I wanted a little bit of leftovers. The white pie was a little not, I don't know. I want a white pie to have like a punch of garlic or something to anchor me and like remind me that there is some sort of white sauce, and I couldn't really distinguish what the white sauce was, but I thought that the tomato pie was pretty great.
Yeah, I can go next. And the Brooklyn Bridge, it's a winner for a reason. People love it. It's incredible, and I think the whipped ricotta is a big thing. I think it's one of Blue Pan's standout things that they do. It's like clearly freshly whipped. We just had the Detroit style pizza at Hops and Pie, and they had ricotta on theirs. And when you're expecting these beautiful whipped piped dollops of ricotta, and you get something that clearly seems like it came out of a container, it's just not the same. You can't compare. Blue Pan does it so well. Brooklyn Bridge is amazing, absolutely worth it. Yeah, the tomato pie was great, a great standard. It's a little, I know some problems that people have with Detroit style pizza is that it's too bready and too cheesy. You have to like bread and cheese. I think you have to like bread and cheese to like pizza. If you're eating pizza for the sauce, you're doing pizza wrong.
Well, you want a balance. I think you want all three to work together. Well, I think you want everything to kind of come together in concert.
I mean, but that's why I could see if people had like the regular tomato pie at Blue Pan, I could see where they're coming from when they're like, it's too bready, it's too cheesy. I love that. I don't think you can have too much bread and cheese. So I thought it was great. And then like Megan, I agree with the white pie. There was maybe something lacking to it. And I think that's because Detroit style is so heavy on the bread that when you don't have like sauce to balance that out, it can come off as too bread heavy or too dry. But I think that's a risk you take with all white pies.
Yeah.
Still, all really good. Would absolutely eat them all again. We'll have them for leftovers.
I feel the same way about Blue Pan. The two veggie options that we had were both great. The tomato pie, for me, I won't say it was too cheesy and bready, but I will say it could have used more sauce, which is the same, but maybe a little bit different. And the white pie, again, with the honey, like, I mean, I'm going to be thinking about that all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have my decision. I'm ready to finish this thing off. I don't need to dilly-dally at all.
Wow. Okay.
We haven't talked about Big Bills.
Let's talk about Big Bills. Let's talk about Big Bills.
I think we know where Paul's voting.
We got droop soup at Big Bills. We got a pretty good crust. We got droop soup.
Yeah.
Great customer experience. I mean, how was the pizza, though? Just the pizza.
I liked the onions. I think that some places are afraid of onions and cook them away till there's no pungency to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked how these were somewhat raw. Likewise, I liked the bell pepper having a little bit of crisp, thinly sliced enough. Otherwise, the pizza that we got was their vegetarian, which is like
black olives, green pepper, garlic,
mushroom,
artichoke,
onion.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't
and
even
extra
remember
cheese.
The artichoke and extra cheese. I don't remember the extra cheese either. What I remember is pulling away the first slice and just seeing kind of a puddle behind in the middle.
Yeah. My question is, what was that?
The puddle?
Yeah, is it just like cheese sweat?
I think it's liquid from the vegetables. I think when you have too
yes.
many vegetables on a pizza, they kind of
That's
like
exactly
exude moisture when it cooks.
Which is why we all look like Big Bill pizzas right now.
I am exuding moisture.
It was. I agree. It was good. It was. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate the pizza. But yeah, now that we're talking about it, you said something at Pizza Pop-Up, Paul. Would you go back if you had to pick one to go back for a second slice for? Which would it be? For me, that would very obviously be Blue Pan.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
Blue Pan. Megan?
I hope that your pal Walter writes in again, because I wonder if we ordered wrong. We ordered just a regular pie, and as I was reading through the menu and the specials, there were 2 specials that were the thin crust. So I wonder if that's the magic of this place.
Yeah, they also had Sicilian.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people will write in to let us know how we.
Hey, that's what pizza's all about.
Order.
Everyone gets to have their own opinion. You know, we're going to make our pick here.
Deputized Pizza Pals listeners.
I would not, if someone was like, hey, I've got friends who live actually right by this place, and if they were like, hey, we're going to go to Big Bill's, watch the Broncos game, get some pizza, I would be like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I've had that. They do great pizza, and the vibe is awesome, and they do pitchers of beer. Yeah, not hating on Big Bill's, but I would go back for Blue Pan.
Yeah.
Is that it? Does anyone want to say any? Megan, here. Megan, have some space. Put a pin on this for us. What's the best pizza in Denver?
Okay. I'm winding up. I'm getting ready to let go of the ball.
Here comes the pitch.
Here comes the pitch. Straight over the plate. Straight and true.
Into the catcher's mitt. Strike one. Another pitch coming.
No. People travel. While we were sitting down at Blue Pan, Peyton, you talked about coming into Denver to go to Blue Pan.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Pan is a destination. Like, I remember having birthdays with my brother where we went to Blue Pan especially. Blue Pan may feel overexposed right now, but it's because they have distinguished themselves, and they deserve the title of best pizza of Denver.
Feels right when she says it.
I think so. But I would only add with a drizzle of honey
Oh, no.
on the pizza. That is the best pizza in Denver. Blue pan pizza with a little bit of that spicy honey.
Wow.
Delicious.
Wow. Incredible.
Yeah, you're right. It feels right.
Well, listeners, write in. Tell us why we're wrong. Call in. The number 720-500-5418.
Hey, what's up, CityCast Denver? This is Chris B from North Denver. I got the top 5 Denver pizza picks for you. So with number 5, I'm going with Pizza Pros. It is no longer there, but in the 80s, it was a staple over there on 44th and Lowell. Number 4, Benny Blanco's. Number 3, Sexy Pizza. Number 2, Cosmos. And my number 1 pizza in Denver, Pizza Alley on 32nd. It's solid, consistent. It's been there since I was a kid. The only thing left from Old Denver over there on 32nd and Lowell.
Hi, my name is Alex Phillipson. I'm calling about Pizza Week, and I am throwing Selly's Bar and Grill into the mix because they make, I would say, a New York-style pizza that is among the best I've had, even including New York, where I was born and raised. And it is located within the Ice Ranch, a amateur recreational hockey rink where I play men's league, also known as beer league hockey. It is a hidden gem, very well hidden within an ice rink.
Amazing.
And there we have it. Thank you all so much for joining us on this absurd journey that we called Pizza Week. Megan, thanks for helping us bring it home.
Yeah,
when
thank
Bree
you
and
for
Aaron went
letting
down.
me be a guest and call myself a host on your show. I hope I hold that title for a long
Years
time.
to come.
Yeah.
This was fun. God, I hope you guys liked this. This was really fun. You guys all wrote in and said you liked it. You called in. We got lots of voicemails, lots of emails. This was good. Do we do Denver Pizza Week 2023? And if we do, what is the question?
Oh my gosh.
Pizza Week, maybe Burrito Week. I don't know. We'll do something. We'll do something fun. And everyone's invited. Peyton, Megan, this was a blast.
Super Pizza Friends out. That's all for today here on the Denver Pizza Podcast. I mean CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell Bree that you missed her today as much as we did? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to Peyton's morning newsletter. Bree will be back next week with more news from around the city. And subscribe to the Denver Pizza Podcast for more pizza goodness. Okay, bye-bye.